right. We have got to change the movie that Canada sees election after election. It's the same movie. The right divides all the other parties into little bits and wins. This is crazy Canada. You can be better than that. We can be better than that. Anyone but conservative. Thank you very much.
supported by the government. Those are things that people fought for, people want, and we have to keep defending them, because the second that we want the freedom of speech, the government of Canada will try to take it away from us. The second we want the freedom of the right to assembly, the government of Canada will try to take it away from us. We have to keep defending it, keep on fighting it, and I say no to Bill. No to Bill C51! 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 And I say people, you say power! People, power! People, power! And I say stand up, you say fight back! Stand up! Stand up! And I say freedom, you say speech! Freedom! Speech! Freedom! Speech! And I say human, you say right! Human rights! Human rights!
Already tweeted it out. I don't do selfies too often, but for everyone that's surveilling me right now, I just want to remove all doubt that I'm here and with all of you. And I'm not afraid to say that Bill C51 is an atrocity. Bill C51 is not going to make us safer. It's not going to make us more secure. I thought I was going to have an aneurysm trying to read the bill. It's full of obscure, vague, and really abstract language. It's a type of language that's going to make it really difficult to defend yourself against. I think it's simply a further erosion of our freedom to have some expectation of privacy. When I close my front door, I expect to enjoy the privacy of my private space. The privacy that goes with being a private citizen. It's tragic that in the privacy of my own home, when I open my laptop or use my phone, my sense of privacy and security evaporates.
Hey, Snap Happy, knock it out.
It's tragic that two of the biggest inventions of this generation are the internet and the mobile phone. A few of you have those out there, I think. But they've turned into the perfect tools for the surveillance state. The state has turned our tools of personal communication against us. We're no longer really private citizens, we're suspects. Wanting to have privacy isn't about having nefarious intentions. In fact, I'm going to echo the sentiment of a great Vancouver technologist, Tim Bray, who said, it's okay to be pro-privacy without being a crook, pervert, or terrorist.
Allow them to become our secret police, or they'll monitor our every move, each word of our speech. And you know how a word of pipelines or a First Nations brief scares Parliament's right wing.
I've been invited to speak about the effects of Bill C51 on the Muslim community, and before I speak to that, I want to preface everything I say by making a point that I don't speak on behalf of the Muslim community in Canada, and I don't represent all Muslims in Canada. Far too often, especially within the mainstream media, Muslims are labeled as one homogeneous body, as one voice, as having one stance when it comes to everything. And I think it's really important to speak out against that we are a community with differing viewpoints, with differing politics, and with differing voices, and I'm just one of those voices. So today I'm speaking on behalf of myself, as someone who was grown up in Canada post 9/11 and has experienced the effects as a Muslim of anti-terror legislation here as well.
Next up, we have Kai Nagata.
Faces on it.
He's currently with the Dogwood Initiative, but in a previous life, he was a former radio and TV journalist and Quebec City Bureau Chief for CBC News. Hi.
So I'm Kai Nagata. My family's been here for 4 generations here in Vancouver. And as a Japanese Canadian, I think that we are brought up with a special perspective on rights and freedoms. So I was looking back over some of the letters that my grandfather wrote. Growing up on Main Island, he said that he never actually encountered racism before World War II. It was a foreign concept to him. It was not that his neighbors were afraid of him or thought that he was a threat to them. So when Pearl Harbor happened, it was actually a surprise to many of my family members how quickly this wave of public fear was whipped up against people who were born here in Canada, who spoke English, who were Canadian citizens, but who looked different. So I can't help but see some parallels in the last 10 years with the rhetoric that was used at the time to justify putting my grandmother in a prison camp, and the same words that are used to talk about Muslims, to talk about First Nations, to talk about people who are concerned about, for example, energy projects on the West Coast. And so that brings me to the reasons that we have a Dogwood Initiative for being particularly concerned about C51, and that's that, does anyone remember the joint review panel hearings for the Enbridge Northern Gateway pipeline a couple of years ago? Well, we organized thousands of people to speak in that public forum, and we organized some little rallies outside of the different towns where the joint review panel came and heard from people. And one of those, it turns out, was being monitored by CSIS and the RCMP, because we were teaching volunteers in a church basement to tell their own personal story, and we were painting placards, which is, as you know, one step removed from terrorism. So we only found out about it a year later through a Freedom of Information request, but the fact that that meeting was monitored and that information was then shared by the National Energy Board with Enbridge, with the proponent, this intelligence briefing on our organizers, that made us pretty mad. And I think that's pretty messed up that people who are engaging in legal democratic protest would be under surveillance by the agencies that we pay to protect us from terrorism and threats overseas. So any bill that increases the powers of these agencies without commensurate public oversight, any bill that gives them more power to monitor regular people that have nothing to hide without giving us, the public, more power to lift the hood and actually see what they're doing with our tax dollars, we think is a bad bill. And so that's why Dogwood Initiative stands with you and with anybody who is trying to stop Bill C51.